HealingYourself.life provides information for awareness, educational, and support purposes only and does not diagnose or prescribe treatment for any medical condition. Viewers are encouraged to do their own due diligence and consult with their own medical caregivers before making personal treatment decisions. Welcome back to HealingYourself.life. I'm Dunagun Kaiser.
And I'm Melody Kaiser.
And we're here to talk today about leaky gut syndrome, why it's important, and what the causes and the effects of it are, and how you can treat it and recover from it.
Okay, the first two things that I have on how you get it, and there's two resources that I use because I wasn't exactly sure. I knew from the Candida, that is one of the things, and that's why we got leaky gut, is because we had Candida from all the antibiotics. And so the first resource I used was actually leakygutsyndrome.com, and the other one is Dr. Axe, A-X-E, and he's got a great thing on leaky gut, a whole video, and you'd have to go to draxe.com or Google Dr. Axe. Again, it's A-X-E, as in a chopping axe.
Can we just tell them again that, remember, for those of you who haven't watched our earlier videos, we were treated for Lyme disease. I caught it. I gave it to her. We both had it. We were treated with a long, more than a year-long regimen of antibiotics, and it messed up our internal bacterial flora in our digestive system. And that's one of the things that can throw you into out of balance, and it can make you at risk for leaky gut. In other words, the wall of your intestine becomes permeable and starts leaking larger molecules than it should be into your blood system, and your body can react to those. Then we also got a overgrowth of Candida yeast, which again is naturally present in everybody's system, but with antibiotics it can throw it off to where your balance gets all messed up and Candida overgrows. It's not good for you, and it can also cause leaky gut. So what are some of the symptoms that let people know that they may have leaky gut?
One, I wanted to first start out with what can give you leaky gut, because it's just more than just Candida. One was on the leakygutsyndrome.com. He lists chronic stress. It can really wreak havoc on your gut. Constipation, if you're constantly backed up, things can get through and the toxins will cause leaks in your intestines. Poor flora, you talked a little bit about that, and imbalance. Very important to have good intestinal flora. Antibiotics, long-term use, that's what happened for us. NSAIDs, I didn't realize that. Advil, ibuprofen, those things.
Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, NSAIDs.
Yeah, NSAIDs can give you leaky gut. Alcohol abuse in excessive amounts, grains, legumes, and other foods. So the paleo diet followers argue that humans were not meant to consume a lot of grains, so they argue
healthier for you to avoid grains, because grains can be inflammatory.
Yeah, we have found that now with our leaky gut, which actually once you get leaky gut, it can cause you to be allergic to certain things. I'm now allergic to milk, which I never was before, and things like that. I just want to go back to where I was here.
Causes.
Some people, Dr. Axe, again, it's A-X-E, he believes you can have a genetic predisposition to it, so you might have a weaker intestine to begin with. A poor diet, so my M&Ms didn't help at all.
And people that are real high in carbs and in grains.
Yeah, and if you eat McDonald's sugars and all that, a lot of junk food. Chronic stress, we talked about that. Toxin overload, whether that's through antibiotics or a drug or alcohol abuse.
Or environmental toxins.
Yeah, tap water, he says here.
You can go back and look at our video interviewing Dr. Jay Nielsen talking about the dirty dozen and other environmental toxins of things that are present in our modern environment that were not naturally occurring in previous generations, and that have really caused a big increase in leaky gut suffering in our generation.
Yeah, I think that was maybe the paleo diet comes in as far as there's so many things. We eat so many grains every single day. It's in our cereal. If you think about it, you're eating breads all the time. Years ago, the bread was different too. They were making
the strains of grains were
different. Now we have this monoculture, so
genetically modified,
and all that can really wreak havoc on your gut. And then again, a bacterial imbalance. There's also something called dysbiosis, which means an imbalance between beneficial and harmful. And we got that when we had the Candida. It was the harmful bacteria the Candida that
harmful
took
yeast
that took over our bodies, and then that caused leaky gut. So then there are serious things that can be caused by leaky gut, and gastric ulcers, infectious diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel. Sorry, I can't speak
so
tonight.
both irritable bowel syndrome
Yes,
and
thank
inflammatory
you.
bowel syndrome were things
Thank
that she
you.
mentioned.
Thank you for the help. And Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, celiac disease, esophageal and colorectal cancer, and allergies, which we got food allergies.
Yeah, that one I understand. They say that our
Yeah, go ahead.
lining of our gut is actually the largest place that we encounter the outside world. Everybody thinks about your skin. You think, oh, I got to wash my hands, and I got to, cover myself up if it's cold outside or whatever. You think you encounter the outside world through your outsides, but actually your insides is much, much bigger because of all the folds and all the little villi and microvilli, the little fingers on the tiny insides of your intestines, that the surface area of that is huge, like tennis court size compared to the outside of your body. And that's where you encounter the outside world the most, so that's where your immune system needs to be the most active to protect you from the outside world. But the flip side of that is that's where the closeness between the outside world and your bloodstream gets to be the most close, because the bloodstream has to flow right next to the wall of the intestine in order for the little tiny molecules of nutrients to come out of the gut and slip through the wall of the gut. If they're the tiny little size and get into the bloodstream, that's your nutrition. But with a leaky gut, the gut lining, which is supposed to have all these layers and layers of healthy mucus and all these wonderful cell walls and all these, kind of like a filter to make sure that only the things that should get into your blood do. If it's broken down and the lining is worn out and it's not healthy and it's inflammatory and inflamed, then much bigger clumps of undigested or partly digested proteins and that sort of thing can get through and into your bloodstream, and your body's going to react to those just like they would react to any other invader that shouldn't be in there. And it red alert, and you can cause an allergic reaction or at least a sensitivity reaction. So a lot of people these days, food allergies, there's even stand-up comedians. Kevin James and others making fun of how everybody's gluten intolerant.
I can't eat that. I can't eat that.
Everybody's got these food intolerances that come on, when we were kids, you just ate stuff. And so that's really is on the increase, and it's partly due to the fact that as Dr. Nielsen talked about, the food and the pesticides and herbicides
that we're using so much
and the unhealthy changes to our food supply, but it's partly because of our food choices as well as being unnatural and highly processed and that sort of thing.
And sugars and everything. When we were on our Candida diet, we're still on it.
Just try to avoid sugar.
Yeah, try to avoid sugar when you go to a restaurant. It's in breads, so you just forget that.
It's on French fries.
We actually at Granite City, I'm not trying to advertise it, but they have a gluten-free. Now you have to be careful because a lot of things, it was on the news recently, a lot of gluten-free products have sugar to give you that extra taste. But the thing I ordered tonight had cauliflower rice, which is like, okay, so I think more and more restaurants are getting the idea, and it had no sugar added at all, which is unusual. There's so many times we'll order at a restaurant and they go, oh yeah, we add sugar to that, or there's sugar in that sauce. So there's like,
it's too late. You can't do anything about it. We make our sauces ahead of time.
Yeah, ahead of time. So P.F. Chang, they've accommodated us many times, but in general, almost all of their marinades
all
have
the standard
sugar.
marinades and
so,
sauces.
You can cook at home, which is great, and we've done a lot of that. But if you want to go out once in a while, you really have to be careful if you want to avoid sugar. So that we wanted to touch base because I missed a few things on the seriousness of leaky gut and
consequences.
Yeah,
and
respiratory infections, which I feel like I have gotten sick more often. We had to miss a family vacation because I got very, very sick with a respiratory illness, and I'm convinced it probably was because of the Lyme and the Candida, combined, that I'm just more vulnerable to getting sick.
Which makes sense again when we talked about that's the lining of your gut is where you encounter the outside world the most, and it's where your immune system is the most active. So if that barrier is permeable, then you're much more susceptible to these germs, either bacteria or viruses coming in and going through and getting into your bloodstream that otherwise wouldn't. And so you can end up with all kinds of different illnesses, and you think, oh, it's a respiratory thing. Somebody must have sneezed on me. Maybe not. Maybe it's something that somebody touched something. They sneezed on the food or whatever.
Sure.
It came in through through the leaky gut.
Right.
In fact, Dr. Axe even had a quote when he was, if you go to draxe.com, he's got that video. It's very informative. And he quoted some father of medicine saying that all illnesses originate in the digestive
gut.
system,
Okay.
in the gut. So it's really critical to realize that is a very vulnerable point for catching other illnesses.
Yeah, right. Acute inflammation conditions such as sepsis, SIRS, and multiple organ failure, chronic inflammatory conditions such as arthritis, thyroid disorders, obesity-related metabolic diseases, fatty liver, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune disease, lupus, multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, Hashimoto's, which is something I got.
So it's a thyroid deficiency.
Deficient. Well,
Overgrowth
actually,
of the
no.
thyroid.
You get a lump on your thyroid, and it slows down your metabolism, and it does. It can cause constipation and things like that. So with the Hashimoto's, selenium and ashwagandha are critical if you do have Hashimoto's. Anybody who has it, selenium and ashwagandha can, I think, cure it. They've said so. I'm on ashwagandha, and I take selenium, I think, almost every day. Also, Parkinson's, chronic fatigue syndrome, and a propensity towards weight gain and obesity.
So there's a lot of serious consequences
very
that
serious.
can happen from leaky gut.
Yeah, so it's really important, especially as we age, even if you're young, good probiotics. We just don't get enough, I think, again, from our diet with, I think maybe years ago, if you gardened and you had a good soil, you'd be getting it out of your soil.
The lack of probiotics is kind of a modern phenomenon. I learned that from Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease is talking about lack of exposure to certain healthy organisms. Dr. Jordan Rubin from Garden of Life, now works with Dr. Axe.
He works with Dr. Axe.
Talks about, he has a joke, he says, I wish you'd eat some dirt, because it's basically, there's soil-based homeostatic organisms that really do contain enough healthy probiotics to make you have more balance. And when we were kids, or previous generations, kids would play out in the dirt.
I made mud pies all the time, but
anyway. Also you mentioned that even a family dog can bring in lots of probiotics from the lawn and from outside, and bring them into the home and enrich your probiotic environment. And that actually, our houses sometimes are too clean.
Yes,
and we're using all these antibacterial soaps and antibacterial everything, and sprays all over the place, and cleaning, and it's too sterile, and it ends up with a weakened immune system. So you're going to talk about ways
now,
from
honestly,
the ground up?
I take a lot more probiotics than you probably need to, just because I do have leaky gut, and we've had candida and Lyme, and the candida probably was going on for a long time, so my gut really needed help and still needs help. So I take a lot of probiotics.
Should we talk about kind of foundational, what are the first few things you take just to start repairing the gut itself?
Especially, to repair the gut, you want L-glutamine. That's very important. And you take it, to repair the gut, you take it, you can show
That's one of the essential amino acids.
Yeah, and you take it before you eat on an empty stomach, because if you take it with food,
this stuff is not expensive.
No, it's not.
It's just a natural
but it'll act more
acid.
like a enzyme if you take it if you've eaten food.
And so if you take it on an empty stomach, it will help to nurture. It's like one of the raw materials. It's like a building block for building gut lining.
Yeah,
and if you're into like bodybuilding or muscle building or strength building, this also repairs muscle too. So this is just something. There's nothing bad about it. It's good. It's It's actually like a food. So take it. It's food for your gut. Okay, what else builds the gut?
The DGL. You can
deglycerinated licorice.
Yeah.
Man, I get confused. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's a little bit hard doing it the opposite direction.
Deglycerinated licorice, DGL.
And I get the German chocolate flavor just because it tastes better. But they have plain, which I found now, and because of the candida, we really should take it. There's huge bottles, and that's not that expensive either.
The purpose of this is it's soothing.
Yeah, and it rebuilds the gut.
Soothing and rebuilding to the gut. And you suck on these lozenges for like 20 minutes
because
before
it'll
a meal.
help your throat, too.
It bathes the entire digestive tract from mouth, esophagus, and stomach in this sort of soothing and reparative coating.
Yeah, it's a great product. We really like it.
What else builds the gut?
So it says it soothes the stomach lining on here. I think we said that.
Yep.
Okay. And we have slippery elm. Go ahead on that one.
If you ever get really upset stomach, upset digestion, diarrhea, that sort of stuff, this stuff is a natural slippery elm bark powder. So it's the bark of the slippery elm tree. It comes in a powder form. You can get it in capsules. This happens to be bulk. I'll be careful because this would
it's powder.
Make a big mess.
And it doesn't taste very good. I prefer taking the capsules. But
capsules are a lot easier, but you can get a lot more this way.
Yes,
you can actually make like a fake multi-meal by just stirring this up in water or in broth.
And I've done it that way. I haven't.
And eat it like a really bad breakfast cereal. But what it does is it will help to arrest diarrhea, and it will absolutely help to soothe and build the gut.
Yeah. I would also just recommend when you are taking it that you take it away from vitamins 2 hours either way.
It's kind of an absorbent thing.
Yeah, it'll absorb, just like charcoal. You don't want to take your vitamins and take charcoal. You just don't want to do that.
And if you're really serious about it, you can get it in the 1 pound bag size.
And that's even cheaper. Yeah,
even cheaper.
And you can you can add to your shakes or whatever if you are
you can
doing
sneak
shakes.
a teaspoon of that in.
Again, just avoid taking vitamins at that same time.
Right.
And then aloe vera juice. We do the inner leaf because the outer leaf has
the full leaf.
Yeah, the full leaf
has some chemicals in there that can be a little bit harsh.
Can be really hard.
But this inner, where does it say on here?
The cooler, please.
Yeah. Where does it say inner fillet gel? I'm not seeing that on here right off the bat.
Okay, it does. I'll find it while you're talking about it.
So the idea with aloe vera juice is it's one of those natural juices. It's first of all, it's slippery and smooth, and it just helps to kind of smooth things through the digestive system. But it's also highly nurturing to the digestive system and to the gut.
Yeah, here it is. It says on the ingredients.
I'll zoom in on that if I can. Yeah, you can see the inner leaf.
Inner leaf. I found that important. I was using the whole leaf because it came in a glass bottle and it was organic, and I started getting some stomach issues from it. This is much better. I find it. I really like that aloe vera juice. Unfortunately, it is in plastic bottle. It's not glass, but
if you can find it in,
you might in a health food store.
Leaf fillet, aloe vera juice in a glass bottle. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And organic is the best, of course.
Yeah.
How about probiotics?
Yes. Okay. So there's different kinds. Anyway, let's try. These are called digestive probiotics, done by Nature Made. And this has, and I like this one. There's 2 to each little packet, and you take 2 at a meal.
How many different species do those have in there?
This one has Lactobacillus plantarum, works in a small intestine.
And bifido. Okay.
And Bifidobacterium lactis works in the large intestine. So it's to do double duty, small and large intestine. And it does contain soy, so if you can't do soy, so you have to be careful on some of these. It's not dairy, it's gluten-free, it's those good things.
Yeah, watch closely when you're buying probiotics, because some of them actually contain
sugar.
And some of them only have one species of probiotic. In your gut, there's like 500
you
500 million species.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go to replenish that,
you want
one that has this.
That's why I take more than one.
This one is refrigerated. It contains 45 billion probiotics per serving, live cultures. I've got glare. But look at the list of how many different species it has in there.
Yeah, that's nice.
What that gives you is it gives you a lot more variety to help replenish what may have gone missing in your digestive system.
Yeah, so that's really important. If you're only going to take one, try to make it a really good one, and that one has to be refrigerated once you open it. So that's a good one. Did you show the kind that it was, the name of it? Because if people are interested in that particular one, because like the other one is very limited.
This brand is Genesis Today. I don't know that. I mean,
you can probably find a different
Garden
brand.
of Life used to be a really good brand. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it still is. I like a different. There's another one, and this is on Dr. Axe's website. He also sells bone broth. Oh my gosh, we forgot the bone broth.
I'll grab that.
And I think if you take it, you can take either chicken or beef or turkey bone broth, but it has to be bone broth, not just chicken broth. Bone broth. That's where they cook down the chicken, the whole chicken, and cook it down, so that you're getting a very rich, and that really is healing to the stomach. We should have put that before, because it's out. It just provides a really good healing environment. And we try on most days during the week. There's certain days that we don't get to it. Like today, I didn't get to bone broth today on the weekend, but oopsie. Anyway, it's just really healing to your gut. It'll heal your gut, and we buy the organic. You can so it's very good, really good.
You can get there's different brands.
Yeah.
But organic is of course the best. And chicken bone broth again has to be bone broth, and that's highly nutritive to the gut.
And if you're going to use it every day, that big one works. I like a smaller one that actually has some
little 8-ounce size.
Little 8-ounce sizes, and I do take 2.
Different
but
flavors.
I like the lemongrass because it has a flavor, and it just helps it me.
I've given up long ago on
flavor. But I
so
like
did you show
flavor.
him this one?
No, not yet. This is from Dr. X's website, and like I said, he also sells powdered bone broth, which is fine if you need that. I just feel like the liquid is a little better for you, but you can add the powdered to protein drinks and things like that,
Yep,
so that you
I
can
do that.
Yeah, and that's a good one. This is Leaky Gut formula, and I wanted to read again
okay.
the ingredients because there's some really good ones. They do have the L-glutamine, the licorice root, which is what we talked about, the DGL, so that's healing to your gut, marshmallow root, and you take this before you eat any food. They say like either 8 ounces of water or juice. You can take it with juice. Turkey tail, spirulina, blue-green algae, chlorella, Himalayan shilajit, don't know, reishi mushroom, and shiitake mushroom, and maitake mushroom, fermented silver, fermented gold, fermented platinum, and then Saccharomyces boulardii. And so it's got some other good probiotics in here. Bacillus clausii, Bacillus coagulans, and I'm sure I'm not saying them properly.
A bunch of different probiotics and prebiotics.
Bacillus. Yeah. Anyway, good.
Let's show them what it looks like.
I
We
like
haven't
it.
seen it yet.
I think this works well again, and that I get through Dr. X. Now maybe you can get this one because I see it doesn't particularly say his name, but I buy
Or you
it
can
off.
get it for the less price.
Yeah, the less price. I buy it off that. The other one that's really good for healing your gut is a colostrum. This is one that, but you can't be allergic to milk. So it does contain milk because it's colostrum from the cow. But it soothes protects and repairs the stomach and GI tissue. I may start trying that again because it's really good. It's good for you. Okay, and then another thing one product that I really like, and this is called, and I got this on VitaCost, Devagest Ads. It's advanced digestive support. It really is good, and there's a few things in there that I really like because if you're going to be drinking, milk or having cheese or something, it also contains lactate, which we also
lactase enzyme,
so that we're not having to deal with that. Our stomach and so that's another thing we should have probably brought down that we take is lactate if we know we're going to have some sort of.
You can save a lot of
milk,
money by
cream.
Buying generic brand name.
Yeah.
Lactate is a brand name, but
we got it at
it's
Costco.
lactase enzyme.
Yeah, we got it
It's
at Costco.
enzyme that dissolves lactose milk sugar. Yep.
Yeah, and they say take one, but we take like 5 or 6.
Depends
or 7.
on the amount of the serving size.
Yeah,
Of
that's
how much
right. How much
milk or
you're
cheese you're going to be having.
Yeah, if you're going to have a lot, then you need to take more than just 1 or 2. So anyway, and this has some other things that aren't in some of my other ones. So I like it. It helps me, I think. And then we did talk a little bit about chlorella and spirulina.
Yep, those are algae, natural blue-green algae that can be nutritive to your system and actually help with detoxification as well. You can get them in these little handy capsules, or you can get them in these big monster powdered jars of powder that you can stir into things. And this stuff tastes horrible, just so you know.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't taste good.
Can you turn it so they can see it, hon? Thanks. There you go. So you can get these at any health food store. Or you can order them online, and you can stir this into shakes. If you put about
honestly,
half a teaspoon.
I prefer to take it because
just get it over with.
Yeah. Now I can't do spirulina because that actually has some really good iodine in it, which when you have Hashimoto's, you don't want too much iodine.
Got to limit your iodine.
So there is some spirulina in the gut, this leaky gut formula.
We should talk about digestive enzymes because remember
when
we talked about leaky gut, one of the bad things that happens with leaky gut is that your partially digested food molecules they're supposed, if your system is working properly, your naturally strong stomach acid and your naturally vibrant intestinal flora and your naturally plentiful pancreatic enzymes are supposed to break down the food into these itsy-bitsy little tiny particles that can naturally go into your system without upsetting your immune system, and it's being detected as foreign bodies.
Yeah.
With a leaky gut, that process, for a number of reasons, doesn't have enough time to work properly, either because you're eating the wrong stuff, or you don't have enough digestive enzymes, or the intestinal flora are messed up, or you don't have strong enough stomach acid, and then the walls of your lining of your gut has too big of holes so things get through before they're done. Breaking down, so you end up with these big particles that shouldn't be in your bloodstream. They're recognized as foreign objects and they're attacked by your immune system.
Right.
But one way that you can help to replenish what's missing there is to increase your digestive enzymes. It will not hurt you to increase your digestive enzymes, but it can help you.
Yes,
and some of the most helpful ones are pancreatin, which you can get this in any different brand and from any different store or online. But pancreatin is a very wide spectrum. It comes from the pancreas, and it helps to digest all different types of both fats, proteins, and carbohydrates.
Right, and this is
bromelain.
I buy the one with quercetin in it because it's very good I can't remember exactly what for, but I think it's also good for immune system. But quercetin is also good.
Bromelain is specifically an anti-inflammatory for digesting protein. It comes from pineapple. Now, why God would put a enzyme in the heart of the pineapple plant that is only good for digesting meat proteins?
Meat, that's right.
That's very interesting. I think
Yes.
there might have been a chain with animals eat the pineapples and they helps them, so it helps them and helps them.
Yeah.
But anyway, bromelain, you can take it with meals and it'll help digest protein. If you take it between meals, or pancreatin taken between meals, acts as an anti-inflammatory, which can also help your gut. So you can
Right.
take it both between and with meals.
Those are, but there are some enzymes you can only take with food. You do not want to take them on an empty stomach.
If they're like
But these are ones you can take.
bile,
Yes.
yeah,
And
or
I think
pepsin.
we should have brought that down. We've got super enzyme.
Yeah,
that's
now brand makes one called super enzymes, and it
And that
contains,
has-
in addition to the pancreatin and the bromelain, it also
Right.
has like pepsin and ox bile.
which
and
is important if
and
you're
HCl stomach, it has
not
HCl
digesting
acid.
properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I take some other enzymes that I didn't bring down, but again, you can start slow and figure out what helps you, and then do a little more research and finding. Like, again, the Now brand super enzymes, if you're going to eat with food, that's great. So it's just the Now brand super enzymes really helps with digesting your food, and take it with food.
Some of you are real probiotic fans, and you've complained in the past when we only talk about like capsules of probiotics.
Oh,
So we're going
sure.
to give you some natural
Yeah,
fermented
some
probiotics
food.
So one
But there's
is,
great.
and our daughter clued us into this one when she was being treated
Yeah.
for leaky gut,
Yes.
and this is we actually recycled our last bottle last week, so I don't have this. The recycle just got taken. I was going to go dig it
Yeah.
out of the recycle, but kombucha. This happens to be
Yummy.
GT's brand. We like that one, but there's lots of different brands.
Because it has less sugar. Because you are getting some sugar.
And GT's also, it has the naturally sludgy, wonderful stuff on the bottom. So if you tip it and swirl it, you see all those little
Yeah.
traces of goodness. There's a really weird word that they use when they're making kombucha called a SCOBY, a symbiotic community of bacteria and yeast. And they use that when they put it in with the special tea, and they brews this wonderful beverage called kombucha. It's a sparkling beverage. It tastes kind of like a not very sweet tea, sparkling.
Yeah, it's great though. Tastes
and
good.
it's got tons and tons of probiotics in there
Yes,
for
it's
you.
just great. It's wonderful.
And even similarly powerful, probiotics can come from fermented
Yes.
foods like
Sauerkraut.
organic raw sauerkraut.
Yeah. And this again we get at Costco, so it's not that expensive.
But you can get good natural sauerkraut with
Yeah.
no preservatives. Look for the natural stuff that. Listen, here's the ingredient list. I'll show you. This is the ingredient list: cabbage, salt, and garlic. That's 3 ingredients.
Yeah.
Don't buy something that has tons of ingredients
No,
and nothing that
right.
has preservatives in there.
Yes.
This is called kimchi.
Another
It's
very
originally
good
from
thing.
Korea. It's a spicy kind of a like coleslaw, but I mean like sauerkraut, but a little much more spicy. And it's got tons of natural probiotics. It's so full of bubbly burping.
Yes,
The top bulges. Normally they say don't buy anything with the top that bulges.
No, and it wasn't. Once you've opened it, it kind of bulges. It's really
It was
when we
bulging before I opened it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
then when you opened it, it was
Really, yeah, we've never heard a
Yeah.
sound like that.
But it says right on there, open slowly.
Yeah.
Under pressure.
And then we forgot one more thing, and that's Cocobiotic, which they make from
I can grab
coconut.
that.
Yeah, he's gonna get that from our pantry, and we buy that in bulk. There isn't a discount for that. I did find a discount. I think it was on Retail Me Not, but the Cocobiotic is expensive. It's very expensive. For like 8 bottles, it's very expensive. But and again, it doesn't taste that great, but it's very good. It's very good for you. I think Body Ecology makes it. So if you're in a rush and you don't have to take very much of it, it can last you a while. Once you open it, you need to refrigerate it.
One benefit of this is it's very low in sugar
Yeah,
compared
yes,
to
the
kombucha
kombucha.
that can be like 9 grams per serving or
Yeah.
whatever. And you got to watch out. The kombucha, sometimes they'll say like 2 or more servings per bottle, so you got to kind of watch the
Right,
serving
yeah.
size.
We buy the big bottles of kombucha
a bit
now.
bigger than a liter, yeah.
Yeah, so that makes it a little more economical. Now, the other thing, if you are staying away from quinoa, I notice it does have some quinoa. It has chickpeas, organic red lentils, brown rice, mung beans. So it's not just coconut juice. There is more to it. So it's naturally fermented drink though.
Also, if
So-
you ask people how you get probiotics, a lot of people say, "Oh, I eat yogurt." But most, like 90% of any yogurt you see is going to be so full of sugar, and it's only going to have 1 species of probiotics or maybe 2 in there.
Yeah.
That the sugar is just junk, and it's not helping
Yeah,
you.
unless
So
you get plain yogurt.
you can get plain yogurt, and you can get
Yeah.
Greek yogurt that's
Yeah, which
higher
is
in
better,
protein.
yeah.
You can get organic Greek yogurt.
Yeah, and
non-fat.
you don't want watching a show and they now have Greek style yogurt. It's not real Greek yogurt. You want just something that says Greek yogurt on it. Greek style doesn't mean it's Greek yogurt. It just means it's like the style of Greek yogurt.
The other trick that Dr. Jane Nielsen taught us was take a small bottle of plain yogurt and open up a capsule like some of these.
So you're adding more
these probiotic capsules in there. Shake it up, let it sit at room temperature for 8 hours, then put it in the fridge, and it's blossomed into being way more potent probiotic than just.
You did that when
you're
making kefir as well. Kefir is another.
We'll do a
thing.
show on making kefir. Different time.
Yeah, and that one's pretty quick.
And if you
get sick,
heaven forbid, if you do actually get starting to feel like you're about to get a cold, or you're gonna, maybe you got a big event coming up and you want to make sure you protect yourself extra so you don't catch a cold. Right. And we talked about how you can get a cold with leaky gut because the bacteria and things from the outside world, the viruses can leak through your gut. Olive leaf powder, which Dr. Jane Nielsen talks about a lot, is a really big helpful
but
booster.
This take on if you're starting getting sick, it's really critical
at the very beginning.
At the very beginning, because it really will help.
This stuff, Wellness Formula. Yeah. We like the capsules because one of the herbs in here, I think maybe the olive leaf powder, or one of the other ones is valerian or something. It just stinks.
No, there's no valerian.
Is it? Okay, well, whatever it is, it smells really bad. And the capsules help to kind of mask that. The tablets, boy, oh boy, they're tricky to take. But the capsules are easier to take. And you take, what is it, serving size, 6 capsules several times per day, right when you start to feel like you might be getting sick. And this can really head off a cold in its tracks.
Or if you're traveling, take it preventively before you travel. And then you can bring it on your trip with you so that you can take it on your trip.
A lot of you may have other knowledgeable ideas about how to heal leaky gut, and if you do, please add them as comments below this video, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm not sure which corner the subscribe button is in, but look for it. Make sure you subscribe and give a thumbs up, and tell your friends about this channel, about healingyourself.life, and we'd love to keep making more of these videos and get more doctors in. I know Dr. Seaman just wrote a new book. He's going to come back on and talk about his new book. So,
and then the other thing was, I wanted to show our dogs, but Dr. Axe, he also talks about one of the reasons they have a dog is.
One more thing we forgot to mention or show you was what Dr. Axe mentioned about the benefit of having dogs in your household is that they will bring in lots of probiotics into your world from the outside, and then they'll have them on their skin, and you can pet them. And anyway, that will, if your house is too clean, that will definitely solve that problem. So besides, it lowers your stress level sometimes. And that can help with releasing the chronic stress, which is another thing that you mentioned.
Right.
And Melody, you were going to mention something about don't get overwhelmed with how many products we showed you guys.
Yes, I think that's really important. We showed a lot of product, and Dunagun and I take a lot of different products. One, because Dunagun's had Crohn's disease, so that really wreaked havoc on his gut, and I have had candida probably years, and then the antibiotics really did a number. So I take a lot more than most people, and so I would say work your way from the inexpensive stuff to working to more expensive if those products aren't working for you. But experiment, and you won't need to take probably as much as we do. And that's that.
Thanks for joining us again on healingyourself.life, guys. Hey, let's help each other out by adding additional suggestions you might have about healing leaky gut down below.
That sounds good.
We'll look forward to seeing you again in a future episode. Take care.
Take care.